Hello. So I just wanted to update you all because it's been a few weeks since I actually posted on here or filmed a video. So it is currently week 8. So I actually only have about 2.5 weeks left of my quarter, which is just crazy. So I think the last time that I posted a video, I was about to take one of my big tests, and I ended up doing really well on that test. I only missed one question. Something that I am working on is trying to give myself a little bit of a break if I don't get exactly the score that I want. Not to say that I've been getting bad scores, but as a nursing student in California, the expectation is that you have 4.0, 100% on almost everything to get into nursing school in the first place. So I think that my expectations of myself is to get like high A's, if not like 100% on everything, which is just not realistic. I mean, obviously I'm going to continue to try to get grades like that, but I'm trying to make myself accept that low A's are okay, or high B's even. I'm not at risk so far in getting C's or anything, but whenever I get a B, I'm kind of like, I could have done so much better. So I don't know that that feeling is going to go away anytime soon, if ever, but that's what I'm trying to do. But the last time I posted, I had a big test. I did well. I also had another test in my pharmacology class, and I did okay. I got a low A. And then I also had another test in my other class, which I also did okay on. So I'm actually currently preparing. I had a quiz earlier this week, and I did well on that, and then I have a test on Monday. So it's been going okay. The study techniques that I used before are definitely not the study techniques that I am using now. We went into an infectious disease block where basically they, not even exaggerating, they gave us a list of 30 different infectious diseases, and that includes like bacteria, parasites, fungi, and also viruses. And it was in an Excel sheet, and the expectation is that we were supposed to fill it all out while going through lectures, and it was just an insane amount of material. It was basically what my teacher said is everything that was in a microbiology class for an entire semester we had in 1 week. So we had three days of lecture on that material, and we're expected to know it for this next test, which is just, it's a lot. I feel like I'm pretty good on it, but it's just still a lot of material. So how confident can you feel on that much material? So we're being tested on that, as well as on ENT, so ear, nose, and throat. So that is another giant topic. You would think that because it's all limited to here, that there wouldn't be that much, but there's an insane amount of things to know, especially in relation to the ear. Something that I didn't really realize is that when you're growing up, you have a lot of ear conditions. Maybe you have a lot of chronic ear infections. Children stick things in their ear, they stick their fingers, they stick toys. I don't know, I don't have kids, so I didn't really think about it that way. Same with the nose. So you really have to consider those things when you're taking care of your patients. So it's really interesting to learn about it, and it's opened me up a little bit more to maybe taking care of pediatric patients. So we'll see how that goes. Something else new this week is I actually just had my second interview for student-run clinics. So student-run clinics are basically, they have PA students, they have medical students, they have nurse practitioner students, and I'm not sure if they have pharmacology students, because some of them actually do have pharmacies in them. So I guess we'll find out. So I had my interviews for the different clinics in the area that I wanted to go to. So I had 2 interviews, and then next week I'm actually going to shadow for a few hours at one of the clinics that were my top choices. So I'm really looking forward to that. What they told me is that the students basically run the clinic. So it's kind of incredible, great experience. And what you do is you go in and you do your history, you do your physical assessment, and then you go out of the room and you do research to figure out what's going on with the patient. And then you come up with a plan, a diagnosis based on what the patient is telling you, and then you can present that to your overseeing provider who is there at the clinic and volunteers every weekend. So I think it'll be really, really great experience to do that. It's basically acting as a clinician with the safety net of actually having a clinician there to guide you and tell you where you're falling short or where you're doing well. So I just really am excited to do that. So that will be a commitment of 1 to 2 times a month. So what I'm going to have to do is schedule some time off of work. So I'll have to schedule at least 1 day a month off of work so that I can participate in these clinics. And then the other thing that I've done is I applied for a student government position. So I applied to be one of our class reps, and I did a little bio and they did voting, and I think they're actually going to be doing the results today. So in the next video, I'll let you know if I got the position or not. There were 3 of us, so I really hope I did, but you never know. I'm pretty vocal in class. I do ask a lot of questions, so I feel like I have a pretty big voice, and I talk to a lot of people, so I'm hoping that that will go in my favor, but you never know. In terms of studying, what I've been doing lately is there's this program called Sketchy, and what they do is they basically draw out a story, and that helps you with memory cues to remember what's going on. So say there's a bacteria called Cryptococcus. So if you're thinking just on a basic level, you can start off it's like a mind map, a mini mind map. You can start off your mini mind map inside of a crypt. And this particular illness affects patients with AIDS. So I have a tomb with AIDS written on it. And then on the different pillars on either side, I have temperatures and the different symptoms on one side for like the initial symptoms. And then on the other side, I have the later symptoms. So if you're able to picture that in your head when you're thinking about the different illness, it helps you to cue you to remember all the really important details. So that's really basic, but is really helpful. I know it's really hard to keep all of the different illnesses, symptoms, treatments, manifestations of the illnesses all differentiated. So when you're first starting out, I think it's super important to figure out whatever works for you. So I've been doing that for infectious disease. And then for ENT stuff, so ear, nose, and throat, we have actually this wonderful study bank that's free through our school. So I've been using that lately to help to solidify the knowledge. This question bank actually has the correct answer, and then it also has the reasoning behind the correct answer and why the other answers are incorrect. So it's actually a really great resource that's helping to solidify my knowledge. And then I did a PowerPoint with all the pictures of the different illnesses or the different conditions for the ears, the nose, and the throat. So I have pictures of every single one of them in a PowerPoint, and I went through it with my study group, and we were able to write down the defining features of each of those conditions and identify them. So I'm also using that as a study technique. And then we are doing it's through this program called Kahoot, where we all are able to contribute and put in practice questions in our study group. And while we're going through those study questions and practice questions, we're able to talk as a group to figure out like why this is the correct answer, why the other answers are incorrect, and it also helps to gauge us on how confident we feel with the material, because if we're able to answer it really quickly and correctly, then that means that we're pretty solid. Otherwise, if we're standing there trying to decide which one we choose and then we randomly choose the correct answer, clearly we need to spend a little bit more time on it. So it is really helpful to figuring out where the gaps of your knowledge are. So that's what's been going on with me. We are having our white coat ceremony in, 3.5 weeks. So it's going to be after finals and right at the beginning of the next quarter. So there's actually only a 1 week break between the quarters. So I'll probably post a video before that, and then I'll include some pictures of the white coat ceremony. But the other last thing that happened to me is I ended up going into the ER for what I thought was appendicitis. I clearly had the defining features of appendicitis because when I went in and I talked to the doctor afterwards, he said, I'm really surprised that the CT scan didn't show that you have appendicitis. I'm pretty sure that this is what you have. It's just in the early stages. And then he sent me home on antibiotics. So I've been dealing with that for the last few weeks. I'll insert a picture here of me studying. And this was just really tough because I was having tons of pain and I'm stressed out thinking I have to get surgery, and I ended up missing one of my patient encounters that we were able to do a history with. So it's basically hired actors, and they come in a Zoom call, and we're able to practice like we would with a normal patient with our health history and go through all the motions. And they have a script and they have their own conditions, and they're able to help us to practice those skills. So I missed that, and I ended up needing to redo it because I was in the ER. So it was really stressful. I just wanted to talk about it because life happens while you're in school, and those things do happen. You get sick, you go to the ER, maybe your kid gets sick. But yeah, so that happened, and ever since then, I've actually been on light duty at work. So I'm working in a different department right now while I'm recovering. I'm still having the same kind of pain, but I'm not having any fevers or anything, so I'm just continuing to monitor. And then I'll have a follow-up with that same physician in a couple weeks. Granted, nothing changes. So nothing's changed so far, but it is really hard when things like that happen while you're in school. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, so that's what I have going on with me. I will keep you updated on if I get into a student clinic or when I get into one. When I get into a student clinic, if I end up getting a student elected position, and also how school's going, because it may be a little bit busy in the next few weeks. I'll do my best to try to post every week or every other week. It was just kind of an exception this last few weeks because of all the stuff that was happening. So not only was I dealing with all this stuff with my abdomen, but I also had multiple tests, even just the following week. So I went in like on a Thursday, and then I had 2 tests on Monday and Tuesday. So it's just, it's tough to juggle life. And I think that the people who are juggling life with their kids are just amazing. And going to work in the middle of it has been tough, but you know, you got to do what you got to do while you're in school, and just know that it's all temporary and you can make it through almost anything for a couple years. So I'm just hanging in there, and things are looking up, and I'm actually really excited, especially once those clinics start. So I'll keep you guys posted on how the shadowing goes and how everything is going. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye. Hello. Thank you for watching my video. If you like the video and want to subscribe and see more videos like this every week, go ahead and hit the like button down below and subscribe. You can leave comments and ask me any questions about what it's like going through NP school or what it's like being a nurse. And then eventually you can ask me how it is to be a nurse practitioner. So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I'll be around, and whatever it is you have going on in your life, you got this.